What's going on, everybody? Champ is back, and we got ourselves another execution today. Oh, hell yeah. This is actually one of two executions that are going to take place today, okay? This first one, unfortunately, does involve a child, so if that is triggering for you, please click off and just join us for the next one. For those of you who do want to stick around, this is by final verdict. I'm going to leave the channel link in the description box down below. Make sure you go ahead and check them out. And be sure to leave any comments you want. Here we go.
On July 28, 2026, after spending almost 38 years on death row, former police officer James Aaron Duckett was executed in Florida. In his final days, he wrote from Death Watch that he missed music. That being alone was draining.
He has really messed up teeth. I just want to say
He
that.
wrote that Florida's
There it
clemency
is.
system
How many times have we
has
seen that?
become a joke, and that none of it seems to matter when it comes to sparing a life on death row.
Well, yeah, probably because you did something terrible. Let's find out what you did. I only seen the intro, so...
Here's what he didn't write about, though. On May 11, 1987, he asked a store clerk the name and age of an 11-year-old girl, put her in his patrol car, and drove into the night. She was found the next morning in a lake less than a mile away, strangled and drowned. And that girl may not have been his only victim. Investigators later linked James to 2 other unsolved murders. This is what happened.
God, he looks like what's his name from the Goonies. Like, what's his name? Sloth, only his eyes aren't messed up?
Teresa McCabe was an 11-year-old 5th grader at Mascot Elementary. On the evening of May 11, 1987,
I was 2.5 years old. Yeah.
at around 10 p.m., she told her mother she needed a pencil to finish her homework. Her mother said no. She didn't want her to leave the house that late. But Teresa said, "Mom, I won't take but 5 minutes." So her mother let her go. She walked to a convenience store near her home.
I think I heard this story before. Let me play it, but I think I might have heard this before.
Minutes later, she left the store with a 16-year-old boy who had been doing laundry next door. The two walked over to the store's dumpster and talked for about 20 minutes. That's when James Duckett pulled up in his patrol car. James was 29.
This was 1987, right? Dude, he looks like he would be a 1987 police officer. Look at him. He's even got the goofy ass mustache. He's got this giant ass gap in between.
Years old and just 7 months into his career as a police officer. He was the only cop on duty that night, working a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. The entire town of Mascotte was his responsibility, and his alone.
How big is Mascotte?
James went inside the store first and asked the clerk about the girl. What's her name? How old is she? The clerk told him Teresa was between 10 and 13 years old. James said he was going to check on her, then walked outside toward the dumpster. According to James's own testimony, he questioned the children and told Teresa to go home.
I said, listen, it's getting close to 10:30. I said, I want you to go straight home.
He said he reminded
This case seems so familiar to me.
Teresa about the 10:30 p.m. curfew for minors. But when the boy's uncle arrived at the scene, James and Teresa were still standing near the patrol car. James sent the uncle and the boy away, and once they were gone, he placed Teresa in the passenger seat of his patrol car, shut the door, walked around to the driver's side, and drove away with her.
See, the thing is, like, in hindsight, it's like, please don't do it. But what sucks is that he's a police officer. And if a cop is like, hey, I'll take you home in my police cruiser, you're going to automatically assume you're just going to be safe. I'm not really sure what they had as far as, like, police cameras go, but they had to have something.
The uncle also testified that he never saw Teresa touch the hood of the patrol car. We'll come back to that later.
Okay.
At around 11 p.m., Teresa's mother walked to the convenience store looking for her daughter. The clerk told her that Officer James may have taken Teresa to the police station. Teresa's mother and her sister spent the next hour driving around Mascotte. They didn't see a single police car, so they drove to the Mascotte police station, but nobody was there.
Why didn't you do that right off the bat? If you went to a gas station looking for your daughter, and the person behind the desk says, "Yeah, he took her to the police station," wouldn't that be the first place you would go to? Well, not like it matters. They probably wouldn't be there, but
An 11-year-old girl was somewhere in the dark, and the only officer on duty was nowhere to be found. So they drove to the nearby Groveland police station and reported Teresa missing. Teresa's mother then returned to the Mascotte station and waited. 15 to 20 minutes passed before James finally showed up. And when he did, he told her he had spoken with Teresa at the store, that she had been in his patrol car, and that he had told her to go home. Teresa's mother filed a missing person report with James himself. After taking the report, James drove to Teresa's home to get a photo. At first, it seemed like he was taking initiative, trying to help move the search forward. He even called the police chief, saying he had already made a flyer and didn't need any assistance.
see, I'm trying to understand like how this interaction would go down. It's like, yeah, I had your daughter in my car, but she's just not in there anymore. I don't really know where she is, but yeah, if you want to file a missing persons report, yeah, fine, I'll help you with that. In fact, I'll print out the flyers myself. Here you go. Here's the flyer I came up with. How's it look?
But then things started to feel off. He brought the flyer to the convenience store, only to tell the clerk not to post it, claiming it wasn't a good picture. He said he would return
Who cares?
with a better one, but he never came back. A recording of James's radio traffic that night revealed something troubling. Between 10:50 p.m. and 12:10 a.m., there were no transmissions at all. Over an hour of complete silence during the exact window, Teresa disappeared. But it gets worse. A clerk at another store later testified that while police usually drove by every 45 minutes to an hour,
This guy didn't.
James had come by at 9:30 p.m. and didn't return until he brought the flyer later that evening. He was supposed to be out on patrol. Where was he?
Yeah. Probably dicking around with this kid.
The next morning, a fisherman made a grim discovery at Night Lake, less than a mile from the convenience store. At first, he wasn't sure what he was seeing, but when he alerted authorities, the police chief quickly confirmed it. It was Teresa. The search was over.
If you're this cop, it's like, yeah, you might think that you can get away with it because you're a cop, but all signs immediately point to you, dude.
The medical examiner testified that Teresa had been sexually assaulted while she was still alive, then strangled and drowned. Teresa Maccabee was just 11 years old. She had never engaged in any sexual activity before that night.
No shit. What? Why the hell would she? She's a kid.
The investigation zeroed in on James immediately.
Yeah.
He was the last person seen with Teresa. He was the only officer on patrol that night, and the circumstantial evidence kept piling up.
Not to mention, he's got this goofy ass deer in the headlights look right here. Dude, this guy's guilty as fuck. You can see it like 3 miles away.
A technician from the sheriff's department examined tire tracks found at the murder scene near Night Lake and noticed they were very unusual. While leaving the crime scene, he saw that the tracks left by a Mascotte police car appeared similar, and an expert at trial confirmed it. The tires were Goodyear Eagle Mud and snow tires.
How much you want to bet he's gonna say that he's innocent the entire time?
Designed for northern driving, rarely seen in Florida. The local tire center had only received 2 sets of those tires by mistake during its 9 years in business. And these sets had been placed on the 2 Mascotte police cars.
Yeah.
Then there were the fingerprints. Both James and Teresa's prints were found on the hood of his patrol car. Her prints showed she had been sitting backwards on the hood and had scooted up the car.
All identified with Teresa McAfee. She goes here, 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 and keeps moving up, and then finally there's one completely turned sideways in this position here.
But James kept denying it.
Sir, she had not been on the hood of my car.
Then how did her handprints get on the hood of your car? Well, I don't know. She must have been playing up there, and I told her to get the fuck down. I can't remember doing that.
Nobody was sitting down at any time on the hood of my car. Are you telling us that's not her fingerprints? Like I said, she was not sitting on my vehicle.
Dude, he even looks like a pedo. He looks like a pedo.
Meanwhile, blood was found on Teresa's underwear and was discovered on her jeans. But none of it was found in or around James's patrol car. And then
He probably did all that nasty ass shit up on the roof or on the hood. I mean, yeah, he's right. He doesn't get to leave any DNA on the seats or any fiber on the seats or anything like that. But guess what? You can still leave palm prints on paint. I'm a car detailer, I would know.
the most controversial piece of evidence: a single pubic hair found inside Teresa's underwear.
Yeah, you're cooked. You're cooked.
FBI Special Agent Michael Malone concluded there was a high degree of probability that the hair belonged to James. We'll come back to Agent Malone because years later, what investigators discovered about him would call this entire piece of evidence into question.
Shit. There's always something that'll fuck up a case, man. I swear to God.
Before his arrest, James gave a statement denying he drove to the lake that night. He
course he
said
did.
Teresa was never on the hood of his patrol car. He claimed he stopped for coffee after the girl went home. But the prosecution wasn't done. James was supposed to protect the people of Mascotte, Florida. That was his job. That was the oath. But 3 young women came forward to testify about what he actually did with that badge while he was on duty as a police officer.
Oh no. Oh no. Was he the kind of cop who was just like, hey, so yeah, I'll get you out of this ticket if you like go into the woods with me and do things over there.
All 3 were petite, just like Teresa.
Oh no.
One testified that in early 1987, James had picked her up while she was looking for her boyfriend, and while in the patrol car, placed his hand on her shoulder and tried to kiss her. Another described something that happened on May 1st,
This was a
1987.
kid? Back
Just
that up.
10 days open. Just while he was on, 3 young women came forward to testify about what he actually did with that badge
3 young women, I'm assuming, is 3 minors.
while he was on duty as a police officer. All 3 were petite, just like Teresa.
Either
One
that or height.
testified that in early 1987, James had picked her up while she was looking for her boyfriend, and while in the patrol car, placed his hand on her shoulder and tried to kiss her.
Okay, so that's my head.
Another described something that happened on May 1st, 1987, just 10 days before Teresa was murdered. She was walking alone along the highway when a patrol car pulled up beside her. James offered her a ride and she got in. She probably thought, well, he's a police officer. He'll take me home. But
Yeah,
instead of
just like the girl.
taking her where she needed to go, he drove her to an orange grove, miles from anyone who could hear her. Out there, alone in the dark with a uniformed officer, he placed his hand on her breast and tried to kiss her. A third woman testified that she had met James at remote locations on multiple occasions while he was on patrol. Each time she performed oral on him. Each time he was on duty, in uniform, in the patrol car that was supposed to be protecting the streets of Mascotte.
There you go.
The prosecution revealed that this wasn't a one-time lapse. This was how James operated. He used the badge, he used the uniform, and he used the patrol car, the same car Teresa was last seen getting into.
See, here's the thing. Like, people don't just come forward and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to come forward and say that he did this. just to put this poor asshole away. Like, people don't do that. Like, they have no reason to. So if other people are going around saying that you're doing stuff with them, you probably are.
He found women and girls who were alone, drove them somewhere isolated, and did whatever he wanted. The only difference with Teresa is that she didn't come back. James was arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
Yeah, he probably
was
freaked
suspended
out.
from
He probably freaked out and killed her on complete accident or whatever. He got carried away and threw her ass into the lake. That's what happened. He just freaked out and didn't know what to do. But the thing, like, I don't get, like, back in 1987, and hopefully, like, if there's a cop that can watch this, they can actually answer this. You know how, when you turn the lights on in cop cars today, you know how it automatically records? Did they used to do that back in 1987 as well, or did you just have to like push a button and he just got into trouble because he didn't press the record button, right? It doesn't automatically record. I don't even know if these guys had body cameras back in 1987. Maybe they did. I'd have to look that up or ask one of my friends or something. I don't know. I mean, the police station's right over there. I might as well just walk over there and just ask them that question randomly. They're not going to think that's suspicious at all. They're just going to, yeah, whatever. He just wants to know.
the police force on June 16, 1987,
Say
for
that
murder.
again?
He was suspended from the police force on June 16,
Just suspended.
1987, and fired 3 days later.
Oh, he did get fired.
His career as a police officer had lasted exactly 7 months.
Bye.
On May 10, 1988, it took the jury less than 90 minutes to find James guilty of sexual battery and
Less than an hour and a half.
first-degree murder. And by a vote of 8-4, they recommended the death penalty.
Well, this cocky asshole obviously didn't think about covering his tracks. Like, how can you be this brazen? Just leave tire tracks behind, not think about that. Not think about the fact that maybe her parents might be looking for her. Not get the fact that like with the whole flyer thing, oh, I don't have a good enough picture. Like,
Circuit Judge Jerry Lockett sentenced James to death by electric chair for the murder and to life in prison with no parole for 25 years for the sexual battery. Now, remember FBI agent Michael Malone?
yes.
Years after the trial, the Department of Justice investigated Malone for providing false testimonies in multiple cases. Government reports described him as one of the most problematic analysts in the FBI laboratory, and that was not it. A retired detective, a former police chief, and the mayor of Mascot all publicly said they believed James was innocent.
Of course
But
they did.
then that retired detective
Come
kept
on.
digging, and what Marshal Frank found changed his mind entirely. On May 7, 1986, an unidentified woman was found dead in a water-filled pit near Lakeland, Florida. She was last seen getting into a dark blue car. At the time, James owned a royal blue Buick Regal. Then, on September 19, 1987,
That I was actually officially 3 years old at this time. 3 years and 4 days.
4 months after Teresa's murder, 14-year-old Jennifer Weldon disappeared after leaving a carnival near Lakeland, 3 days before her 15th birthday. Her body was found 2 weeks later in a rural part of Polk County. By then, James had been fired from the police force and was working night shifts at a phosphate mine.
How are you out and about? He must have posted bail or something.
He drove the same route to work around the area where Jennifer's body was found. Gasoline receipts placed James near the scene, and he had arrived for work 2 hours late, disheveled. And then there was this. Jennifer had been carrying a green shopping bag and a stuffed toy when she disappeared.
Okay.
Later, James's wife told investigators that her husband brought home a lime green shopping bag with a stuffed toy inside for their children.
You cocky douchebag. Oh, but these guys have nothing on me. They have absolutely nothing on me. Even after I lose my job, that should be a sign right there that your lies just fall terribly to the wayside. No, 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 no. I went shopping, honey. Look what I got.
In 2003, Polk County authorities announced they intended to charge James with Jennifer Weldon's murder if his death sentence was ever overturned. But those charges were never filed. Marshal Frank, the detective who had once fought to free James, reversed course completely.
Golly, man. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and this face is staring right at you. Holy shit, what a nightmare.
The detective who had once fought to free James reversed course completely. He concluded James was guilty of killing Teresa McCabe and Jennifer Weldon. One thing was clear. Children disappeared around the Duckett name, Teresa McCabe, possibly Jennifer Weldon. And then, years later, another child vanished, this time from inside the family itself.
Okay, really though?
James had a son named Joshua, who was just 3 years old when his father was sent to death row. Joshua grew up, married, and had a little boy named Trenton. On August 27, 2006, 2-year-old Trenton vanished from his bedroom in Leesburg, Florida. His mother, Melinda, claimed someone cut through the window screen.
What?
But investigators found Trenton's toys and sonogram photos in a dumpster at the apartment complex. Melinda refused a polygraph, and she failed a voice stress test. And nobody besides Melinda had seen Trenton alive since the day before she reported him missing.
Well, it's probably her that did it then. What does that have to do with this James dude?
2 weeks later, CNN's Nancy Grace grilled Melinda on live television. The next day, before the interview even aired, 21-year-old Melinda took her own life. Trenton Duckett has never been found. He would be 21 years old today. From his cell on death row, James kept photos of his grandson pinned to the wall.
I don't think he did it. I don't think he did this one.
Investigators questioned him about the disappearance, but they found no connection.
Yeah, I don't think he did it.
During his 38 years on death row, James filed appeal after appeal, but every single one was denied. The courts consistently ruled that even if the hair evidence was questionable, the tire tracks, the fingerprints, the radio silence, and the eyewitness testimony,
all that stuff just pinned it against it.
all pointed to one person.
Yeah.
On February 27, 2026, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed James's death warrant, the 5th death warrant he signed that year. In a piece he wrote from Death Watch, James described the moment the warrant arrived. He told friends on his wing that if a transport van came through the back gate, it would be for him. And at approximately 5:10 p.m., he watched 2 vans pull through the gate from his cell.
There it is, Florida State Prison. I think the second execution that takes place later on, I think that's also in Florida. So maybe we could see the same place twice. Imagine that. I've never seen the same prison execute 2 people in the same day. It might happen. I know that both of these people take place in Florida today, so it could happen. Who knows?
Steps came down the hallway. The warden, with several officers, stopped at his cell. "It's time. The governor has signed your warrant." James was stripped, searched, handcuffed, shackled, and transported to Q Wing, Death Watch. He was placed in the 3rd cell. In the 1st cell was Billy Kearse, days from being executed. In the 2nd was Michael King, set for March 17th. Both have since been put to death.
I have to go back and watch those guys. I forgot what they did.
His legal team called on a secure line as soon as he arrived. He was allowed to call his brother Donnie and tell his family he was okay. Then the waiting began. 30 days. An officer was stationed in front of his cell 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, logging everything he did. James wrote that he missed emailing. Messages from family and friends came through the prison system, printed out and brought to his cell. James wrote that he missed music, that the silence was constant, that being alone like this was draining. He wrote that Florida's clemency system has become a joke.
Were they not allowed to talk to each other? How would you enforce that? Are they sitting in silent cells all day?
He said that no matter how a person changes through education, faith, or simply growing older, none of it seems to matter. He wrote,
I don't care when they say this stuff. All criminals say that. You know, they took the life of innocent people and did things to kids, but you know, I'm upset because I'm uncomfortable right now.
I am not now who I was then.
I don't care. Nobody cares.
He waited, never knowing if or when my time would come. Until it did.
Here it is.
Teresa McCabe's mother didn't get letters from her daughter. She got a body pulled from a lake. But James missed his music. James's execution was scheduled for March 31st, 2026 at 6 p.m. at Florida State Prison. And suddenly, after 22 years of silence, James wanted that DNA test. He had refused it in 2004.
Why?
But now, with a death warrant signed, he wanted it. 5 days before his execution, the Florida Supreme Court stopped everything. But the DNA results came back inconclusive. They did not prove he was innocent. So the state asked the court to lift the stay, but 6 of the 7 justices said no. His defense team argued that the state had destroyed the best evidence by insisting on a lab that couldn't perform the most advanced testing. But then again, James had 22 years to pick any lab he wanted.
Yeah.
And he chose to do nothing.
Yeah.
The death warrant expired, and on April 2nd, the court ordered a deeper analysis of the DNA data. The defense wanted access to the raw statistics, but the state wanted to move forward. For 3 months, the case sat in legal limbo.
Maybe that's where I heard it from.
Then, on July 8, 2026, the Florida Supreme Court lifted the stay. The DNA testing had resolved nothing, and 6 days later, Governor DeSantis signed a new death warrant. James Duckett was scheduled to be executed on July 28, 2026, at noon.
At noon. What was I doing at noon? We just got done washing a vehicle and we were just starting to polish it. We were going to put a 1-year coating into the polish. Or it's a part of the polish, so all we had to do is just polish it. And then we could wipe it off when we're all done. And that's what we were doing, at around noon. I think we started around there, with the polishing part. Yeah.
On the night before his execution, James met with 4 members of his family for a final visit. He woke the next morning at 4:45 a.m. For his last meal, he had eggs, grits, bacon, biscuits, and chocolate milk. Then he met with a spiritual advisor. Just before noon, he was taken to the execution chamber. 35 people were in the witness room when the curtain went up. Among them, the family of Teresa McCabe and Jennifer Weldon, the 14-year-old whose unsolved murder had been tied to James for decades, though he was never charged. When asked if he had any final words, James said, "No, sir. No, sorry. No explanation." At 1 p.m., the drug...
Well, yeah, he got himself off. Whatever.
began to flow. About 4 minutes later, the warden shook him and called his name. There was no response. James Aaron Duckett was pronounced dead at 1:19 p.m. He was 68 years old.
Crazy.
He had spent 38 years on death row.
Crazy.
What do you think? Has justice been served? Let us know your
Oh my God. I'm going to have to go back now and find out what those other 2 people did. Yeah, I guess I'll do that later. No, stop playing random videos that I didn't ask it to play. All right then. Let's wait for number 2 and let's upload this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, because yay.